In the heart of the African savannah, where the golden grasses stretched for miles beneath an endless blue sky, there was a pride of lions that ruled the land. Their leader, a powerful lion named Temba, was known far and wide as a fierce protector. His roars echoed through the plains, reminding all who heard them of his strength and dominance. The pride thrived under his leadership, but in the shadows, a young lion was watching, biding his time. His name was Kumo. Kumo was the son of Temba, though he often felt more like an outsider than a prince. While his father was admired, Kumo was seen as young and inexperienced, often overshadowed by his father's greatness. He yearned for a chance to prove himself, but in the pride, age and experience mattered more than ambition. His sleek golden coat and sharp eyes showed promise, yet he had not yet earned his place. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky with hues of red and orange, Kumo ventured away from the pride. His mind was filled with doubt and frustration. He padded quietly through the tall grasses, listening to the chirping crickets and the distant calls of hyenas. It was then that he came across an old lion resting beneath an acacia tree. His mane was gray with age, and his body bore the scars of countless battles. The old lion lifted his head slowly, his amber eyes locking onto Kumo's. "I know who you are," the lion rasped. "You are Temba's son, the one who walks with uncertainty." Kumo flinched, but curiosity kept him rooted. "Who are you?" he asked cautiously. "I am Rafiki, once a king of this land," the old lion replied, his voice calm and steady. "I see in you what I once saw in myself, a desire for more, yet unsure of how to claim it." Kumo sat down, intrigued by the elder's words. "How do you claim it?" he asked. Rafiki chuckled softly, the sound deep and wise. "To be a king is not just about strength or dominance. It is about wisdom, courage, and the ability to see beyond yourself. Your father rules with power, but power alone will not keep a kingdom at peace." Kumo listened intently as the old lion spoke of the balance between strength and wisdom, and how a true king must earn the respect of his pride not through fear, but through guidance and protection. Rafiki shared stories of his own rise and fall, and how he had learned these lessons too late. As the night wore on, Kumo realized that the path to becoming a leader was not about surpassing his father's strength, but about learning to understand the needs of his pride. Days turned into weeks, and Kumo continued to visit Rafiki in secret, learning from him the ways of leadership. He practiced hunting, not for sport, but to provide for his family. He learned to listen to the whispers of the wind and the calls of the animals around him, understanding that all creatures were part of a delicate balance. One fateful day, as Kumo was returning from one of his lessons, a terrible event struck the pride. A rival group of lions, led by a fearsome lion named Zira, had ambushed Temba's pride while they were resting by the river. Temba fought bravely, his roars shaking the earth, but age had caught up to him. He was wounded, and the rival pride began to overwhelm them. Kumo arrived just in time to see his father fall. His heart raced, and everything he had learned came flooding back to him. This was his moment. But instead of charging into battle with reckless abandon, Kumo paused. He observed the rival pride's movements, noticing their weaknesses. He realized that Zira was overconfident, leaving parts of her territory unguarded. With a plan forming in his mind, Kumo called out to his pride, rallying them not with a roar of power, but with a call of unity. He directed them to flank Zira's pride, using the landscape to their advantage. The pride, though weary, trusted Kumo's calm and calculated approach. Together, they fought back, outsmarting the rival lions and forcing them to retreat. As the dust settled, Kumo stood over his injured father, who looked up at him with pride and understanding. Temba, with his last breath, acknowledged Kumo not just as his son, but as the new king. Kumo, now the leader of the pride, stood tall under the setting sun. His mane, still growing, caught the light of the fading day, and for the first time, he felt the weight of responsibility and the strength of his purpose. He had not only saved his pride, but he had also earned their respect in a way that went beyond mere strength. Kumo understood that true leadership was about more than just power. It was about wisdom, compassion, and knowing when to act and when to listen. The lions of the pride gathered around him, their eyes filled with admiration. Kumo's journey was not over. He knew there would be challenges ahead, but he was ready. He had learned from the best, both his father and Rafiki, and he would lead his pride with the heart of a lion and the soul of a king. As the stars began to twinkle above, Kumo let out a roar, not of dominance, but of unity. The savannah echoed with his call, and for the first time, he felt the true power of being a king. The journey had just begun, and the legacy of Kumo the Wise would be remembered for generations to come. And so, under the vast African sky, a new king ruled the land, not with fear, but with wisdom and courage, ensuring that the balance of life would continue as it always had. The savannah was at peace once more, and Kumo, the lion who once doubted his path, had finally found his place among the stars.